Continuing example 2C. We are now looking at requirement 5. Determine how many units Beckett must sell to have annual net operating income of $150,000. So this is called a target profit question. We're trying to understand the level of sales necessary to achieve a target profit. Now it's pretty similar to break even. In break even we were calculating the units or the revenue needed for a target profit essentially of 0. Now, of course, the goal of a business is not to break even, but it's to make a profit. So it's not simply useful to say how much do we have to do to break even. We have to plan for certain amounts of profit. And we don't always simply want to just say, well, hey, we'll sell as many units as we can and make as much money as we can. In a sense, that's true. But if we have a certain amount of money we have to earn because we've got a targeted return on investment we need to make, or a targeted amount of profit that we need to make to satisfy those who are working above us in an organization, or if a bank or some other source of capital is trying to get an estimation of how much we have to earn in order for them to fund us a loan or provide equity capital to us, and we need to have a sense of whether it's feasible to earn a certain amount of money. Target profit has a lot of uses, so we don't want to simply just ignore the possibility of planning for a particular level of profit. The shortcut approach is to simply take our fixed costs per period, which in this case is per year, and we're going to take our $900,000 and add our target profit, which is given in our requirement at $150,000. And if we add the two of those together, we get our required contribution margin. Because if you think about it, contribution margin minus fixed cost is NOI, so therefore NOI, or target profit, plus fixed cost is going to get you to contribution margin. So the sum of these two is going to be the required contribution margin. And so if we're going to figure out the number of units we have to sell, we can divide our required total contribution margin by the CM per unit, which is going to be our $120 per unit, and then required units to sell is going to be 1.05 million divided by 120, or 8750 units. So if we sell 8750 units, we will make a net operating income of $150,000. Now, does this make sense? Well, we're at 8,500 units currently, and we're at 120,000. So we're a little bit less than this number in terms of units, and we have a little bit less than that in terms of profit. So the number does make sense. We can also sort of check a few things. So let's say we want to put in a target profit of 120,000. Does that get us back to the current level where we are? Well, yeah, it does. So our calculation makes sense. We can also confirm our break even. What if we put in a target profit of 0? We get back to our 7,500 units, which is our break even point that we found before. So this works very nicely to help us target any particular level of profit. And we can use the same approaches that we used before, multiple ways to get to the sort of same result. Then I'll just do one of those. I'm not going to repeat all of those every time. But let's say we want to show our complete income statement. What's the number of units that we have to sell? Well, one thing we can do is we can set up a little target profit cell to demonstrate that we want to make a particular level of profit and also make it flexible. Our number of units is going to have to be equal to our fixed cost plus target profit, and that quantity has to be divided by our contribution margin per unit. And if we do that, we have 8,750 units sold. Because our variable cost and contribution margin rows key onto this one, all of them get updated, and we see our entire income statement is adjusted and shows not only revenue but variable cost, contribution, and fixed cost. And again, we can turn this target profit number into anything we like, and we can get there. All right, so it makes perfect sense. All these things work together. So that's how we can do target profit using number of units.